Tonight's headlines. U.S. aviation regulator grounds all Boeing 737 MAX 9 jets after hairy mid-air incident. Cathay Pacific announces more flight cuts to ensure smooth operations during Chinese New Year.
The safety of one of the world's best-selling airplanes is once again under the spotlight. The U.S. aviation regulator has grounded 171 Boeing 737 MAX 9 aircraft after a section of the fuselage was blown away in mid-air during an Alaska Airlines flight from Portland to Ontario in Southern California. Despite giving 177 passengers and crew the scare of their lives, the plane returned to the ground safely. The airline briefly suspended its 65 Boeing 737 MAX 9 jets, but some of them have since returned to service. However, the U.S. Federation Aviation Administration, or FAA, has now ordered a thorough inspection for the 737 jets. While the checks take only 4 to 8 hours per aircraft, hundreds of flights have already been cancelled across the U.S.
We are very, very fortunate here that this didn't end up in something more tragic. No one was seated in 26A and B, where that door plug is. Will we look at Boeing's process for manufacturing this aircraft? At this stage of an investigation, everything's in. We go very broad. Nothing's excluded.
She called on the public to help look for the missing door plug that was last located near a neighborhood in the Oregon state. Boeing expressed its deepest regret towards the incident, adding it fully supports the regulator's decision. The American manufacturer's reputation tumbled following a string of issues involving its fourth-generation 737 MAX jets. In October 2018, one of its 737 MAX 8 planes operated by budget carrier Lion Air crashed in Indonesia. All 189 people on board were killed. Just 5 months later, another 737 MAX 8 aircraft operated by Ethiopian Airlines crashed near capital Addis Ababa. None of the 157 people on board survived. All 737 MAX planes were grounded worldwide for 21 months after those accidents. Janice Low, Cable News.
After canceling dozens of flights last month, Cathay Pacific is now warning of more cuts in the coming weeks. But Hong Kong's flag carrier said the measure was to ensure future operational stability. In a statement, Chief Executive Ronald Lam assured customers that services during Chinese New Year will remain stable, so their travel plans will not be disrupted. The pledge was made after the premium airline cancelled more than 60 flights over Christmas and New Year due to a lack of pilots. This will be achieved by streamlining services from now until the end of February, with an average of 12 flights consolidated each day, with a focus on routes with multiple daily frequencies. Affected passengers will be rearranged to the closest available flights or refunded if that is not possible. More pilots will also be put on standby in case of emergencies. Cathay blamed the cancellations last month on pilots catching seasonal illness, but the Hong Kong Aircrew Officers Association disputed that claim, saying the root of the problem was a shortage of Cathay pilots. Maisie Mock, Cable News. Environment Minister Tse Chin-wan has expressed disappointment with CLP Power after a second power outage in Tsing-yi in 1 week. Nearly 400 households in Cheung-on Estate were caught out this morning after electricity was cut from their homes at around 9:30 a.m. The utility firm said a faulty underground cable was to blame for the latest outage, which lasted about 90 minutes. Ellen Ng, head of CLP's Power Systems Department, said the incident today was not connected to the one on New Year's Day. 6 days ago, dozens of lifts in Changyi malfunctioned after a sudden voltage dip at a CLP power substation. The Electrical and Mechanical Services Department has requested CLP to submit a report. Representatives from both sides will also meet tomorrow. With less than 2 months to go before delivering his next budget, the financial secretary is already under pressure to stem the bleeding of the public coffers. Paul Chang acknowledged the public's wish for government expenditure to break even after years in the red. Consulting people from all walks of life, including secondary students, the financial chief expressed his determination to consolidate public finance, broaden revenue streams, and cut costs. He admitted apart from spending a great deal to fight the COVID pandemic, public expenditure has soared during the past few years. Chan's statement came a day after he hinted it could take several years to achieve a fiscal surplus, backtracking from his earlier prediction. But he quickly shot down rumors that the government is about to raise taxes. When we consider how to increase revenue, the government has to take into account the city's actual development. This includes maintaining competitiveness in the international market, so the government must preserve Hong Kong's simple and low tax regime, he said. But it may be time to raise fees for certain pay-per-use public services, Chan said, although he stopped short of giving examples. He added even with the recent downturn, the government cannot slow down when it comes to creating land, building infrastructure, and solving the housing shortage. He pledged to continue soliciting views from various sectors before finalizing his budget due on February the 28th. Maisie Mock, Cable News.
China and the United States took a giant step in rebuilding ties when President Xi Jinping met his counterpart Joe Biden in November. But the delicate relationship between the world's two largest economies might be worsening again. The Foreign Affairs Ministry in Beijing announced this morning sanctions against 5 U.S. defense contractors: BAE Systems Land and Armament, Alliant Tech Systems Operation, AeroVironment, Viasat, and Data Link Solutions. The U.S. last month approved $300 million worth of sales of defense equipment to Taiwan, including tactical information systems. The sales came just weeks ahead of the island's leadership elections, with the ruling Democratic Progressive Party trying to hold on to power against their pro-Beijing rivals Kuomintang. Washington said the sales will help maintain stability and military balance in the region.
But
a newsreader on state television CCTV rebuked the claims, saying action must be taken against serious wrongdoings by the U.S. The sales harmed China's sovereignty, undermined peace and stability across the Taiwan Strait, and violated the legitimate and lawful rights and interests of Chinese companies and individuals, the statement added. Properties of the 5 companies in China will now be frozen, while Chinese groups and individuals will be barred from conducting business or cooperating with them. In a similar move last year, Beijing also added Lockheed Martin and Raytheon Missiles and Defense on its unreliable entities list. Janice Low, Cable News.
A woman in her 90s has been pulled out alive from a collapsed house in Japan 124 hours after a powerful earthquake rocked the island nation. Rescuers in Ishikawa Prefecture said the elderly woman sustained leg injuries, but has recovered enough in hospital to chat. The search for 200 or so missing residents continues, even as chances of finding them alive dwindle. Those who survived the quake are struggling to return to normal life. Many are facing food shortages. as damaged road networks delayed aid shipments. Weather forecasters also warned of heavy snowfall as a cold air mass moved towards the region. Apart from hindering visibility, the wintry conditions could also result in mudslides in hilly areas where soil was already loose.